So in Life in a Box is a Pretty Life, there is the imposition of either like, an authorial voice or a kind of official voice that's claiming one thing often and meaning another or doing another. And that claim often comes out of a desperation to put messages in the world that shape the world in the favor of some kind of oppression or annihilation or, sadism or what have you. And so, it just pops up. It doesn't emerge in any kind of linear way. And one of the reasons that I did that, to have that voice kind of spread through the book, is because I'm thinking about the way in which those messages are really almost illegible, or have been for sure, more not readable. I think in this particular political moment they're more readable on the surface of discourse or whatever. But for the most part they're kind of like intertwined within, kind of like how we think about reality, and then they help create reality even though they're fake messages, right? So I just wanted to have that kind of breathing up through the book around, all of these other utterances and all of these other people or beings or figures kind of speaking and attempting in some way to assert themselves. I mean, I'm really attempting to push myself to be able to write a stable speaking I that is a Black subjectivity without it feeling in some ways overly constructed, because I think that one of my most core beliefs about what it means to be is that if you experience trauma, especially, and I think that in some ways the Black experience in America is a kind of trauma, that it's difficult to be cohesive. So, that kind of almost impossibility of being cohesive makes it so that it's hard for me to rewrite that I over and over and over again. So it's a very slippery thing. If I write it in one moment, it slips away in the next, and it becomes something else. Sometimes it can become you, sometimes it can become she, sometimes it can, it, in fact. So, I'm attempting to kind of move toward, and I'm wondering if there's like language that I could write around it that can like reconfigure it so that I can use it more persistently without it feeling kind of, when I say overly constructed, I just mean like slightly fake, like an artifice that I don't necessarily want in the poems. Every single book of poems, there are really, to me, what feel like really explicitly autobiographical moments and gestures, right? And so I would say, especially in A Matter of Gathering, A Gathering of Matter, the first book, that there is like all of that, almost all of it comes out of trying to speak personal sexual violence, actually. And trying to find a language for it, but it being a kind of near impossibility. So language is always kind of like breaking away or like falling apart, or it becomes myth or something like that. But for me, that was the book that I felt most compelled to write, in fact, because it was like therapy. It was like life-saving to write that work. So how do I approach narrative? I think that the way that I think happens to be kind of like multiple, and so I think that I would approach narrative both in a kind of conventional storytelling way, but I would have to also do something else in addition to that in order for it to legitimately tell the stories I think I want to tell.